I don't think, how many people, how much support will they get when here's a way to get us out with the backing of the United Nations? World opinion. We're isolated. What good does blowing up police stations do in the face of that? All they do is isolate themselves. So here's another little goal of the plan, a little achievement of the plan, is that it isolates the terrorists. I hate to call them terrorists because I think they're by and large patriots, but they're fighting for their country, and they know what we do when we have control, like in Haiti, where our country's had control for a couple hundred years, or Nicaragua, where they're the poorest countries in the hemisphere, dysfunction, and they don't want that, so they're fighting against that. So now some people would say, well, these are for religious fanatics. We're the great Satan. They're going to have, I mean, they're going to come back from the mosque and they're going to say, we are going to have a suicide assault on this impenetrable military buffer. All for the glory of Allah. We'll all have goodies in heaven. We'll be martyrs and so on. Well, there'll be some who say that. But when they go home to dinner, and the missus gets hold of them, and the missuses are the same all over the world, and they say, I will be a martyr. You will be proud of me. She'll say, honey bun, eat your dinner and think about it. Think about the children. All you got to do is make a damn representative government. Now, why don't you do it and stop all this macho nonsense? Just form the sucker. You got to do it eventually anyway. I mean, what's the end state? Where are we going to end up? Are we going to end up conquered, or are we going to end up on our own? If we're going to end up on our own, then why not thrash it out while the oil is held securely? And sort of, granted it's extortion, granted it's humiliating. Okay, so what? I mean, welcome to the real world. So anyway, the women will prevail, especially since the UN and others would like to see a government, this representative government, have women well represented. So I just don't see any flaws. I guess, but if there are, you come up with a better plan. You want to waste time. In fact, I'll challenge the political science department at the University of Arizona. You come up with a better plan. If you can't, don't be surprised if I come into your classrooms to taunt you. Come on, it's time to be real. Our country is in a terrible situation. God, I think of Chalmers Johnson. You all know who he is. I actually sat in on some of his courses in 59, 60, or 61, I forget, at the University of California at Berkeley, because he was a great reputation. Brilliant man, absolutely brilliant. But no positive solutions. It was rumored that he knew every person in the Red Army by name, and there's more than a million people in the Red Army. That was the depth of his understanding. Okay. So I've got the Free Cities Plan on paper, and here I'm at a party with Chalmers Johnson. And Ed Lefevre, who is a professor and an expert on Asia, it's actually his party, a nice big home across from the Claremont Hotel. And so we both gang up on Chalmers Johnson, who is in support of the war. And it was like talking to a wall. The idea of connecting dots of what you could do wasn't there. It's the same mentality of, well, these guys want to learn how to fly a plane, but they don't care about how to land it. Huh. Seems sort of suspicious. But can they connect the dots? Of course not. That's not how they think. They didn't get enough play time, enough recess time. They didn't learn how to get open, even though the defender was bigger and faster than you were. They didn't learn to think of what might be. Only what has happened. Columbus discovered America, and so on. It's a crime, and now we're paying for it. Here we got some of the most brilliant minds in the world watching this calamity, sitting on their thumbs. So again, I challenge. See, you political scientists at the university, you have access to colleagues all across the world. You can bring in the best thought, and you can come up with a better plan. I mean, I've only got a bachelor's degree. I will say that John Service contributed the two contributed the 2 lead-in paragraphs to my Free Cities plan for Vietnam, a constructive alternative to Vietnam, to the Vietnam War. And for those of you who don't know who John Service is, he died recently. He was the country's #1 expert on Asia. He was drummed out of the State Department during the McCarthy witch hunts. And it is he of whom Robert McNamara said, quotes, had John Service been available to us, we would never have made the mistakes we made in Vietnam, end quote. So he's available to a landscaper in Berkeley. I always liked doing construction, so I had a truck, and more times than not with a cowboy hat, and looked a little worse for wear. So he's available to me, but he's not available to the Secretary of Defense of the country? Ha! They didn't want a constructive solution. They wanted to leave Vietnam the same way they leave Haiti, dysfunctional. They wanted boat people. This plan, we sent this plan out with Lefebvre's cover letter to at least 100 intellectuals across the country. Anybody who could think and write, we thought, and who had really expressed anxiety over this plan, or their state in Vietnam. So that's my message. The action for the movement today is to move center stage and come up with concrete solutions to every major problem in the world. Walking in a circle to the sidelines saying the people united will never be defeated is not going to cut it. And those of you who think breaking Starbucks window is going to put a dagger in the heart of imperialism, be real. The people want someone who's real with real answers. They want real solutions. Now, George Bush has all sorts of answers and solutions. They're hideously wrong, but at least he has them. The man has integrity. Now, Kerry, where did he stand? Well, of course, he's the Howard Dean with medals at one point, and then he's George Bush plus 40,000 troops. Well, the man was all over the map. He had no answer, no solutions. And so the action is in the main arena now. It's not at the fringes. It's not like we have Vietnam isn't working. Iraq isn't working. They know it's not working. The polls show it. So walk center stage. Come up with your plan. Spit it out. Make sense. Go in debate. So that's about all I have to say at this stage, but I could tell you a lot of other things later. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you again sometime. And as I say, I'm in the phone book, and you can email me at johnreed at earthlink.net. Hope to talk with you. Thank you very much.